Hello. Thank you for having me here to speak at such an inspiring cultural center. So I am a designer, and as a designer, one of the things I believe in is that you have to be optimistic about the future and optimistic about tomorrow. You have to believe that there are better products and services and experiences for all of us around the corner. And when I think about tomorrow, one of the things that I'm most excited about is this idea of personalization. I really believe that it is going to be a driving force moving into the future and change all of our lives. So today I'm going to talk about a couple of different topics. I'm going to give a little bit of background about why this macro trend of personalization is happening right now. I'm going to take you through some of the foundational building blocks of what you need to think about when you're creating personalized products and services. I'm going to talk a little bit about how you need to be careful with personalization and how it can be a superpower. And then I'm going to go through in detail a project that we've been working on with Gatorade to really bring personalization to life so you can understand how it's going to become the future. So first of all, why personalization now? What's happening in today's world which is affecting us? So from a consumer perspective, excuse me. So from a consumer perspective, what we're seeing is that there are so many choices out there in the world today. And so if you've ever tried to choose a program to watch on TV or Netflix, it's impossible to make a decision. There's so many options, and there's just not enough time for people to figure out what they want to do. There's also a lot of fractured interactions that are happening. When people are going through a product or service, they may start on their mobile phone, they may use social media, they may go onto a website, they may have human interactions. All of these different jumps and interactions make it challenging for people to understand what their options are. Excuse me. People are also really driving for experiences over products. And so we're moving into a time when we're really not seeing a traditional transactional economy, but it's becoming more of a relational economy. People don't want things anymore. They want things that are going to help them have new experiences. They want those experiences themselves. And so it's really changing the driver of what people are looking for. On the business side, businesses are really struggling to connect with their customers, and so you're seeing the channels and stores are really struggling to see what their consumers want and need, and so they're trying to get closer to their customers. And then they're trying to develop a new business model, and so companies are really struggling to find out how they can monetize the things that they have, the products and services, to connect with this new consumer. And then they're trying to develop these new competitive advantages. The market is becoming more and more competitive, and companies need to figure out how they can really stand out in this world today. And then on the technology side, what we're really seeing is that technology is enabling these new types of integrations that we've never seen before. You have different products and services coming together to really change what's possible. And on the testing side, there's huge technological advances on what can be tested with each and every one of us. You have companies like 23andMe able to use spit to determine different DNA characteristics. And then there's a whole new host of new tracking products and services that are out there. And so ways to understand the choices that people are making and the behaviors that they're doing and use that information in new and innovative ways. And so across these three different types of inputs, from a technology perspective, a consumer need perspective, and a business perspective, there's this perfect storm brewing for personalization, which makes it a very exciting time. So how do you start when you want to deliver personalized products and services? And one of the first things to understand is really what's the difference between personalization and customization. And so they're very closely related, but at the same time they're different. And so customization is really creating products and services that are based on something you know about yourself. I know I like these particular types of sneakers. This is the color, the pattern, the things that I want about them. I know that. Personalization takes it to another step. It adds on a level of experience which is based on dynamic changes. So things that might be happening in the world today, different conditions, and so it's a much more dynamic type of product and service that's delivered. A great example of that would be LinkedIn and how it delivers personalized content on who you know, based on what's going on in the world today, and what people you know are looking at. Sorry. And when you start to think about personalization, it's important to balance both functional and emotional needs. And so it's not just about creating things that work, but it's about creating things that make people happy and really connect with them emotionally. One of the things I like to say is that the best personalized experiences, they teach you something about yourself that you didn't know. You almost have this wow moment, this aha moment that really delivers delight and benefit to your life. When you start to think about how you build personalized products and services, what you really need to think about are these 3 building blocks. And this is what we use when we're creating new products and services at Smart Design. Is the first thing to think about is really what are the personal preferences you have? What are the things you know about yourself that you like and that you can articulate? The second important building block is what can be tested about yourself. How does your body work? What are its unique needs? What is going to be ergonomic for you? And then the third is what can be tracked. So what can be seen about the choices that you make as you go throughout your day, and how can that information be turned into patterns? And underlying each one of these different building blocks, there are new developments in technology which can help us create these new products and services. To bring this example to life for you, this is just an idea, but imagine you're trying to create an innovative sleeping experience. And so if you think about these 3 building blocks, from a personal preferences perspective, there might be a certain type of sheet that I like. I know that I like these types of sheets, and when I'm sleeping on them, I can sleep better. When it comes to understanding myself and how I work, for example, there's been some research lately that says that based on your DNA and how you're genetically set up, you might be more of a morning person and you might be more of an evening person. And you could see through genetic testing how you might be able to understand how to design for those different types of people based on their genetic makeup. And then the third thing would be, imagine that every night after I go to sleep, I get hot 5 hours after I fall asleep. I may not be able to articulate or see that pattern because I'm asleep or it happens at a different time every night. But through tracking, you can start to see that pattern. And then you can see how these 3 building blocks can come together to create a unique and personalized sleep experience that's made just for me. When we design personalized products and services, one of the things that we've realized is that you have to be careful with it. It's a very powerful tool that we have as designers. So one of the things that you need to be careful about is that as you create personalized products and services, they have a tendency to serve up things that they know you like over and over and over again. And I don't know if anyone here uses Spotify, but one of the things that bothers me about it is my music playlists get narrower and narrower and narrower, and so I'm hearing the same music over and over and over again. And so when you think about personalization, we need to find ways to bring in outside influences and different ideas into those personalized products and services. It would be like going to a museum that only had art that you like. What's the point of just seeing the things that you like all the time? It's important that we expose people to new ideas and other points of view through these experiences. The second thing that you need to be careful about is really realizing that the wrong type of personalization can be worse than no personalization at all. So for example, my whole family shops on Amazon, and when I go onto Amazon to look for something for myself, I get served a lot of recommendations of things that everyone in my family have been looking at. And so how can we find ways to really tailor that and be careful with that power of personalization? The other thing about personalization is even when it's right, sometimes it cannot be delivered at the right time or in the right way. There's a famous story about Target where they developed an algorithm that based on your shopping choices, they can predict when someone was pregnant. And this is very personal information that needs to be treated in a very cautious way. And so they need to be careful about how you use the information that you have about people through personalization. And then lastly, just because you can personalize something doesn't mean you should. This is a bank based out of the UK where you're able to create your own name for your bank and design a logo and choose the colors. And when you think about the function that a bank serves in our society, it's really about trust and consistency and about creating that sense of security around a relationship and a transaction. So here's an example from my perspective where personalization is being applied to the wrong part of a product or service. So now I'm going to try to bring this to life through an example of the project that we've been working on for a few years for Gatorade. I don't know how familiar anyone is with the brand of Gatorade, but it was invented 50 years ago at the University of Florida in the United States. There was a research scientist there who had understood that the football team was dehydrated in the hot Florida heat, and he invented a new type of sports hydration drink, which really helped them stay hydrated. In the first year that the team started to use it, they won the championships, and so it became this very, very famous story. But that was 50 years ago, and today Gatorade needs to think about the future and where is it going to go. And so the question for Gatorade really was, where do they go for the next 50 years, and what's the future of sports fueling for them as a brand and as a business? So when we started working on this project, we had a hypothesis that there was an opportunity to integrate personalization into their brand and business. The brand had a lot of things going for it around its commitment to the athlete, its understanding of sports science, and how technology was changing the needs around performance. And so the project really started with one particular insight, which was this idea that every athlete is unique. And if you understand that no matter what your level of fitness is and how good you are at a sport or how you train, your body needs different things. It might need different types of carbohydrates. It might need different hydration levels. And so to reach your peak performance, you really need to understand how your body is unique. Anytime you're moving forward with an innovation program, it's really important to start with a real concrete need. So we were approached to work with the Brazilian national team during the 2014 World Cup. And the World Cup was being hosted in Brazil, which has many different climates and temperatures and altitudes to work within. And so the team realized that they really needed to try to develop a competitive edge, and they asked Gatorade to help them develop a personalized sports fuel platform for them. It seemed like a hard challenge. I mean, what do you think we can do to impact a soccer team during a World Cup? But we said, yeah, we'll give it a try. And within 6 months, we launched this pilot.
When Gatorade partnered with one of the world's top football clubs, the Brazilian national team, elite athlete service was elevated to an entirely new level. The Brazilian team opened the door, granting Gatorade scientists unprecedented access.
Together with the CBF team, we developed research on heat stress and dehydration to see how the body responds during exercise.
Each player received his own personalized bottle and customized product formulation through the introduction of the Drinkfinity pods and the hydration tracking system.
Hoje, vários jogadores, quando vão para a seleção brasileira, cada leva seus kits.
The player just comes with this pod that contains his specific formula, plugs it in, shake it, mixed with water, and he's ready to go. This is the technology we are using. This bottle has a microchip in it that sends information in real time to the coach.
Gatorade added further support by providing the Brazilian team with their own fuel bar to access sports nutrition products, education, and insights. The partnership with the Brazilian national team represents a big step, but it's just the first step as elite athlete service grows on a global scale. Gatorade will expand the roster, working with more teams in a variety of sports. Emerging technology platforms will be leveraged as never before. Sports fuel personalization is the present and future vision. Improved athletic performance will always be the ultimate goal.
So we conducted that pilot with Brazil. I don't know if any of you follow international soccer, but they got crushed in the quarterfinals by Germany. And so while in the end, we did not succeed in helping Brazil win, you have to remember with innovation, there's a lot of failure. We did learn that there was tremendous value in the work that we were doing. And so the coaches and the players responded very well to the platform, and there was a lot of excitement about what we were doing. And so what we did is we took those pieces of the platform and we actually brought them into the real world, and we tested them with high school athletes, we tested them with college athletes and with other pro teams and coaches. And through that piloting process, we learned a lot about what was working with personalization and what wasn't working. When you look at the different types of users, excuse me, what we found is with the younger users who are just really yearning to kind of be the best athlete that they can be, they loved the idea of personalization, and they just wanted to see, for example, their name on the bottle, and they wanted to have something that was unique and cool, and they just needed better education about how they could be properly hydrated. But when it came to the pro teams, they really needed to be backed by science. They needed that extra performance, and they needed a lot more technology to deliver what they were doing. We also saw that the technology could be used in different ways. And so there were certain parts of the product and service where sometimes just using a marker and a whiteboard was the best thing we could do. And there were other parts of the product where we needed to use technology to solve more complex problems. Through this journey of piloting, we were really able to develop a number of different components and pieces that became the backbone of the system. And so I have a short video now to show you where the system is today.
To compete at the highest level, you've got to be fast, you've got to be strong, you've got to be at your best. Gatorade GX helps athletes get there through sports fuel personalization. Since every athlete sweats differently, they need their own sports fuel solution. One size fits all doesn't cut it. GX is designed to track, analyze, and optimize each athlete's fueling needs. GX Patch measures sweat rate and sodium composition during training. Combined with the recommendation engine powered by GSSI Science, GX generates specific fuel strategies based on the athlete profile, their specific activity, and environmental conditions. GX pods deliver each athlete their own personalized sports fuel solution. Data from weight tracking, fluid balance, and sweat test results can be accessed and analyzed via mobile device, tablet, or computer. GX allows teams to test athletes in multiple environments and different conditions, leading to deeper insights and sports fuel recommendations. Gatorade continues to define the future of sports fuel, using hydration and nutrition science to help every athlete optimize performance through the ultimate platform for sports fuel personalization, Gatorade GX.
So you can see how the platform has come together to become something that's much more integrated. I'm going to take you through some of the different elements of the platform which really highlight personalization. So the first piece is what we call the profile, and this is what I was talking about earlier, where we are able to capture all the critical information about a specific athlete. So how does their body work? What is their sweat profile? How are they using carbohydrate? How does their body perform in different types of conditions? And then what are their preferences? What are the things they like to eat and they like to drink? That's combined with what we call the pods platform. And so this is how we're able to deliver all these unique different formulas in a really commercially viable way. And so we've designed a new bottle that you use water with. And so it's actually a more sustainable platform. Instead of having to ship water all over the world, you can use local water sources with the pod. And then the pod, because of its small form factor, allows us to make many different variations of it and make it in a very commercially successful way. And so we're able to offer this matrix of personalized nutrition formulas and deliver it in a more convenient and sustainable packaging platform. The next piece of this platform is the bottle. And so the bottle is really more of a customization play, but it's really been a successful part of the platform. And so athletes love to express themselves and show their name, their number, and pick different colors. And so this is created using sophisticated one-off manufacturing, where we're doing digital printing and rapid manufacturing to deliver these in a customized way. One of the most exciting parts of the platform that we're working on is what we call the sweat patch. And this is a disposable patch that you wear during training, and it measures how your body responds to different workouts, how fast you sweat, and what is the content of your sweat. It's disposable, and it uses image processing within a native mobile phone application to pull that information off the patch and put it back into our platform. And one of the most important parts of the system is the digital platform. So this is a cloud-based system where all of these different touch points are integrated together. And so we have things like SMS notifications, we have digital scales that live in the locker room, and we've got recommendation engine logic. And all these things come together in an integrated, secure, cloud-based platform. And so what's next when we think about this personalized platform in the future? So we've had professional teams using the platform for the past 2 years. So we've had professional soccer teams, NBA teams, NFL teams, and we've just launched with some NHL teams in the United States. And what we've seen has been a tremendous response to how this has helped their performance and helped their coaches work with their athletes more effectively. In the past year alone, we've seen the usage of the platform really skyrocket, and so we've seen season-to-season comparison usage up to almost 3 times as much, which has really helped us build confidence that what we're doing is meaningful, because in the world of professional sports, if it isn't delivering value to the team and to the coaches, they will not use it. And so we know that this is there's something to this personalized platform. And then just 2 weeks ago, we launched the pods and bottles commercially to all athletes in the United States. And so right now, we're rolling it out just initially around the pods and bottles. And once we launch the sweat patch, we'll be able to deliver more personalization next year. So when you think about what personalization has done for Gatorade as a brand and business, it's had an impact in many different ways. First of all, it's allowing us to connect directly with their athletes, because we're able to connect with their information and use it in a meaningful way for them. We're developing new channels for Gatorade because we're using a direct e-com based model, and so no longer is the Gatorade being sold through grocery stores or other third-party stores. We're also creating new products and services which they can sell around the bottles and pods. And when it comes to the work we've been doing, it's really elevated the brand's innovation credentials. And so the brand is seen as a much more technologically advanced brand, and that's helped impact the sales of their base businesses. We've also been able to create new partnerships with different technology partners to allow us to scale the work that we're doing. And then we have a robust innovation pipeline for the business, which is all backed by personalization. So all these things come together to really impact the brand and business going forward and really show how personalization is driving the future. So in summary, the first thing is just to remind everyone that there really is this perfect storm brewing for personalization in the future. You've got this interesting convergence of this consumer need where people are yearning for this type of these products and services. You have a business need where the businesses need to get closer to their customers, and they want these competitive advantages. And then you have all of this technology which is underlying and enabling these new products and services. And then remember that when you're developing these personalized products and services, be careful. Think about the superpowers of personalization. Think about those 3 building blocks that I mentioned, and then also balancing how you can deliver functional and emotional experiences. And that's all. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you.
You should stay with us for some Q&A because I have plenty, but I'm opening up the floor for you first. Any questions? I see plenty of hands. Wow. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, well,
Let's
open up the floor. There's a question here, a question there. I see one here, one in the middle. We have ushers going around. So hopefully we'll get time to cover this change.
Yes.
I think change is definitely something I would use.
Thank you.
Yes.
At the front row. Hi.
Hi.
Taka, great presentation.
Yes,
Really
thank you.
enjoyed it. One quick question for you. Do you think the Brazilian football team were preoccupied with their sweatbands, with the mobile apps to actually perform at the football? Because they lost 7-0 to Germany,
Yes,
right?
I know. I think it was 7-1.
7-1, sorry, my apologies. What do you think? But was that a part of their problem?
It's something that we work very hard with on the design side. We need to create the least invasive products and services, especially on the professional side. And so all of the work that we do is optimized to really minimize the impact. And for example, when we first piloted the product and service at the beginning, we had an app for the athletes, and we found that that was too distracting and too invasive. And so we pulled that app out of the product, and now we only communicate through brief notifications that are delivered through SMS. And so over trial and error, we found the right way to deliver value. One of the most important touch points we have in the system is a connected scale that lives in the locker room. And when they check in and weigh in every day, they get vital information about their performance. And that's a really perfect moment to deliver it, where they're in the right mindset and it's not distracting for them.
Some more questions. There's one over here. I see Mohammed has a question. Is there a microphone? Yes. And then let's go up there. I saw a couple of hands. You can keep the mic with you. Just don't speak now.
Hi. I wanted to ask about the price point of this product in comparison to the one you buy off the shelf in a supermarket.
So we're initially launching with the same price point. So it's sort of parity in price. But once we scale it, we'll hope to be able to drive the price down. One of the benefits from a pricing perspective is the actual packaging is cheaper because if it's smaller, and the shipping costs are significantly less. So if you see a package, say for example, a case of these pods, it's sort of like this nice little size. Yeah.
Does that include all the services, the apps, the notifications? There's no monthly fee?
No, not to start. No, it's really about increasing engagement. And when you think about a brand and business, this is really almost sort of a new way to maintain connected to their customer base. And so you can see taking resources that might have gone towards other traditional marketing and advertising activities and diverting them to more of these meaningful products and services that keep their customers more engaged in a more direct way.
Great. Let's go up there, maybe somewhere in the middle also, just to give opportunity to everyone. Is a microphone with someone? Okay,
Hi,
yeah, we have someone here.
Okay.
Hi, it's with me. My name is Zara. I have a question. I know Gatorade is really a big market in the United States. And in Middle East here, sport is become the next big market for sport product. Is there any idea or plan for future to open like a factories to minimize the cost?
Yes. I mean, are you talking about factories for this part of the platform or just in general? Okay. I mean, I think that, Gatorade has, global ambitions, and obviously they're sponsoring global sports all over the world. So I can't speak to their specific plans around this region. But I know that their plan for this platform is to start locally. The plant we have right now is actually in Puerto Rico in the US. And then we'll be piloting and scaling from there and then building additional facilities around the world. The very interesting thing about this platform is to actually see the factory where we make the pods. It's very small. And so just like the pods are small, you don't need a huge space to make these. And so it really allows for, I think, a more scalable global future where you can create these pod manufacturing sites all over the world.
We can have another question. Here.
Hi there. I have a two-part question. So first of all, in regards to the data, with growing concerns that people have about their data and privacy and personalization being largely dependent on people consenting to their data, what do you do to reassure your clients that their data is safe? And secondly, with more governments getting involved in the privacy and data conversation, what do you feel regulation will do to the industry in terms of progression and development?
I mean, I think it's a great question, and it's a very hot topic right now globally. What we've been doing on the platform is following the most strict kind of global regulations that are happening. And so there were new rules that went into effect in Europe last year. And so we've kind of updated our privacy information and our security to reflect those new rules. We do give ownership of the data to the athletes. In the professional world, it's a little bit different because of the nature of the business and how that personal information is used at a business level. But I think it's one of the key things when we think about personalized products and services that will be something we need to solve in the future. And I think that there's going to be some interesting opportunities for companies to develop these, I would say, kind of holding patterns, holding areas where you hold all of your data, and then you decide which pieces you sort of give out to different businesses and brands and services so that you become more in control. And I do think going to the future, that's what we're going to see.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Okay.
This was insightful.
Great.
You can have
Okay.
your way here.
Great.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Please.